The celebration isn't for you. The music, the food, the smiling relatives. They are celebrating a transaction you had no part in. One moment, you're a 15-year-old girl worried about your exams. The next, your father sits you down and tells you your life is no longer your own. You are to be married. To a man you have never met, a man twice your age. As your mother and aunts dress you in a heavy red dress, their hands feel less like comfort and more like the hands of guards, preparing a prisoner for transfer. You look in the mirror and don't see a bride, you see a ghost. This is the moment your life ends and your sentence begins. Why it sucks to be a forced marriage victim in Pakistan. Let's call you Anila. You live in a small rural village in Sindh province. You love school. You're good at it. You dream of becoming a nurse, of wearing a clean white uniform and helping people. But your family is poor, and your father owes a debt to a local landowner, and that landowner has a 30-year-old son who isn't married. You are not a daughter with dreams. You are a commodity, an asset to be liquidated. This is how you become trapped. It's not a kidnapping in the middle of the night. It's a quiet, devastating decision made for you by the people who were supposed to protect you. Sometimes it's not debt. It's a practice called watasata, a bride exchange, where a brother and sister from one family are married to a sister and brother from another. Your future is traded for your brother's. Other times, it's a dispute settlement known as Vani or Swara, where a girl is given to an opposing family to end a feud, essentially becoming a living peace treaty, and often a target for the family's resentment. Whatever the reason, your consent is not part of the equation. Your protests are met with a cold, unshakable wall of family honor. Crying is seen as selfish. Resisting is seen as shameful. Your own family becomes your first captor, isolating you with guilt and obligation long before you ever leave your childhood home. Your new life begins before the sun rises. You are the first to wake and the last to sleep. The dream of a nurse's uniform is replaced by the reality of endless unpaid labor. Your day is a relentless cycle of cooking for a household of 10, scrubbing floors until your knuckles are raw, washing clothes by hand in a basin, and tending to the livestock. You are not treated as a wife. You are treated as a servant. You eat only after everyone else has finished, often left with just the scraps. The physical toll is immediate. Your hands, once soft from holding books, become calloused and cracked. An ache settles deep into your back that never truly goes away. And then there is the nights, the part no one speaks of. Your husband, this stranger, sees your body as another part of the marriage contract, another duty you're expected to perform. There is no affection, no kindness, only a grim, silent transaction in the dark. You learn to disconnect your mind from your body, to retreat to a place deep inside yourself where he cannot reach. This is not intimacy. This is just another chore, the most degrading one of all. You are a vessel for his needs and eventually for his children. Pregnancy, when it comes, is not a joyous event. It is the final lock on your cage. The rules of this cage are absolute, and they are enforced without mercy. Your first day, your fine is taken away. Any contact with your own family is now a privilege, not a right, and it is always monitored by your mother-in-law. You're completely isolated, a stranger in a village where every face is aligned against you. Your name is slowly erased. You are no longer Anila. You are simply Buhu, or Uski Bivi, his wife. Your identity is stripped away layer by layer until you forget the girl who wanted to be a nurse.
Control is maintained through a careful balance of fear and violence. If the chapati is slightly burnt, your mother-in-law slaps you. If you speak without being spoken to, your husband beats you. It's not always rage. Often it's a calm, calculated act of enforcement, like disciplining an animal. The most powerful weapon they have, however, is the threat against your family. If you try to run away, your husband will say, "We will bring shame upon your father. We will harm your brother." They have shackled you by using the people you love as the chains. So you stay. You endure. Because the cost of your freedom is their safety. The psychological damage is a slow creeping rot. Hope is the first thing to die. You stop dreaming of escape because you know with chilling certainty that there is nowhere to go. Your own family would send you back. Society would label you a disgrace. The police? They would see it as a family matter. You are trapped in a prison with no walls and 1,000 guards. Depression becomes a constant companion, a heavy blanket that smothers any spark of your former self. You look at your reflection and see a hollowed-out shell. The vibrant colors of your inner world have faded to a dull, hopeless gray. Sometimes the thought of escape becomes too strong to ignore. One night, you might find yourself staring down the dark road leading out of the village. Your heart pounds with a terrifying mix of hope and fear. But then you think of the consequences of being caught, the brutal beating that would follow, being locked in the storeroom for days with no food, the intensified surveillance. The lesson is brutally reinforced. Defiance only leads to more pain. It's easier to submit. It's safer to disappear into the role they have forced you onto. Surviving means killing the part of you that wants to live. What is the end game? For most, this is it. This is life, an endless loop of servitude until old age or sickness finally claims you. For child brides, the exit comes often tragically early. Your young body isn't ready for childbirth. Complications are common, and access to proper medical care is rare. Pakistan has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the region, and girls like you are its most vulnerable victims. The wedding bed becomes a deathbed. Other exits are even more violent. When the despair becomes unbearable, some girls choose to end their own lives. A bottle of poison, a rope from a ceiling fan. It is the only decision they are ever allowed to make for themselves. And sometimes the decision is made for them. If a woman is accused of bringing shame to the family, perhaps by talking to another man, or simply by being defiant, she may become the victim of a so-called honor killing. These murders are often disguised as accidents. A kitchen fire, a terrible fall. The official report will close the case, but everyone in the village knows the truth. The law offers little protection. While the Child Marriage Restraint Act technically exists, it is weakly enforced, with laughably small fines that do nothing to deter the practice. The legal system is a distant, dusty book that has no power here. Your story, Anila's story, is not an isolated one. It is a quiet epidemic. According to UNICEF, 1 in every 5 girls in Pakistan is married before her 18th birthday. That's millions of girls whose education is cut short, whose health is destroyed, and whose basic human rights are erased. This is not just a cultural tradition, it is a brutal mechanism of poverty and control. It traps families in a cycle where girls are denied the chance to become educated, independent women. By robbing one generation of its future, it ensures the next generation will be just as poor, just as powerless, and just as vulnerable to the same fate. The red dress was supposed to symbolize love and a new beginning. Instead, it became your prison uniform. The home you were brought to was meant to be a sanctuary. Instead, it became your place of confinement. For millions of girls, the wedding vow, "till death do us part," isn't a romantic promise. It's a literal life sentence with no chance of parole. Thank you for watching. It's by understanding these harsh realities that we can begin to see the need for change.